Hey folks, Bridges here. We are going to create a video today that shows how to take a 3D file from Fusion and turn it into something that we can laser cut, which is actually a 2D thing. So we want to start by having our ornament or whatever it is extruded out. Now notice, I've got sketch 1, which is just the lines, and then I did a thin extrude, and then I forgot on the first one that I needed to make a hole for the hook. So on the second sketch, you can see up here I added this 2 circles, and I did some 2 different extrusions. I did a join on the outside ring, and then I did a cut to cut out this little piece in the middle there, so I'd have a full circle. All right, so now I've got this nice. Oh, and then I went in and I added my my polygon, my hexagon, to give it some added strength. Okay, so what it is a combination of multiple sketches and extrudes in my timeline, but I don't want my laser to cut out all those separate sketches. You see what I'm saying? I don't need all these to be separate sketches. I just need one cutout around the edge. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. So once your file is completely ready, once it's all extruded and whatnot, what we want to do is we want to start by creating a new sketch, and we're just going to choose a parallel plane or an offset plane from basically just a plane above. Okay. Now there's nothing in this new sketch, but we're going to basically project the edges of this solid body onto our new work surface. So to project, we're going to go create. Now this is a new sketch that we're in, and we're going to project include, and we're going to click project. Now it's asking me, do I want specified entities or an entire body? Either one should work. I've selected entire body. It makes it easier to click on one time. Those are all the lines from the edges of my solid body, and I can go ahead and click OK. So now I've got another sketch here. You can see sketch 1, sketch 2, and then I played around for a while, and then this is sketch 9. So that's the one that we want to save as a cut file. So all we do is right click on it, and we save as a DXF, which is a pretty universal type of file that the Inkscape will recognize. Call it what you will. I'm going to call mine ornament. That's not how you spell. Ornament and then cut. So since it's just the edges, I'm going to call it cut, and I'm going to note that it's saving it into my downloads folder. Great. So we've got our DXF file saved. That's just the cut lines. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to start a new file in Inkscape. Inkscape is a free open source software. You can see that I've already got mine brought in. Okay, I'm going to start a new one just so you can see what that looks like. Maybe. Okay, so this is Inkscape. It starts us pretty well zoomed out. That's fine. But what we're going to do is we're going to bring in our DXF file by going to File, Import, and then you're going to go and look for wherever you saved it to, which was for me in my Downloads folder. So Desktop, and then find the Downloads folder. There it is. And I find my ornament cutout right here. And when I say Open, I do want to make sure I click on Read from File for the method of scaling. Read from File. What that's going to do is going to bring in the dimensions that you had specified in Fusion. It's going to bring those with it. So it does take a second to import that file, but when it does, it should show up like this. Now you can still scale and change the size of your cutout. I'm holding Control on my keyboard and using my up mouse wheel to zoom in. Okay, there's probably another way to zoom that I'm not sure of, but I just do it this way. Now, you still have freedom to move and arrange this cutout as you see fit. I'm using the object, and then I'm going to go to transform, and you can flip things, you can rotate them. and scale them all over here. All right, I can just flip it. So I'll just leave that there. Yeah, so we're using the transform to move and rotate or flip or scale your whatever your engraving is here. I'm just going to simply click it once and go to Object, and I'm just going to flip it this way, flip vertically. That puts the hook at the top. All right, and then I can go over here on my menu. If I move this one out of the way, I can find the one that has the little text tool on it. It looks like an A with a cursor, and I can click anywhere and type out what I need to say. Happy holidays. With that, I can use my arrow tool once again to click and resize, rather scale that. When you try to scale it, it wants to let you stretch it, make it skinnier, fatter, taller, short. But if you hold the Control key, it will scale that proportionally. You can also move it, and we could even turn it. We could even rotate it. Over here is what I was trying to show you. Something like 30 degrees. And there you go. You can put it on the line. So, cool. That's all ready. Now, what we have to remind ourselves is this. If I send this file to the printer, to the laser cutter, like this, okay, it's going to do exactly what I tell it to do. If this is all in the same layer, it's going to cut that all out. It's going to be like a pair of scissors and cut on all these outside lines, but it's also going to cut out my letters, Happy Holidays in the middle, and I don't want it to do that. Okay, I want it to engrave the letters in the middle, so a different function. Okay, so what I'm going to need to do here on Inkscape is I need to go to Layer and Layers, and I need to assign a new layer. So layer 1, I can right click on it and I can rename it to Cut. I recommend that you do that. So layer 1 is Cut. Now let's make a new layer and call it Engrave. And I'll make that below current. It doesn't matter if you make it above it. You can basically reorder by dragging and dropping over here. Okay, but right now, yeah, Cut and Engrave. Now look, if I turn off my Engrave, click the little eyeball here, look, there's nothing in there, so nothing's being turned off. If I turn that back on and I close the eye for Cut, look, it hides everything. So what I want, if you probably guessed by now, I want this Happy Holidays actually to be on the Engrave. So what I can do is I can select Engrave one time, and then I can right click on my Happy Holidays text. And I can say, move to layer. Oh, it's not happening. So there I go. Click it, get it selected, and then right click and move to layer. Move to layer. I want to move my Happy Holidays to the Engrave layer. You see what we did there? Now we've got two separate layers. One for cutting out the outside lines and one for anything that I want to be engraved. I can add onto my Engrave layer, I can add a fancy art, I can do like an overlay of pictures, or I can engrave whatever I want. It's just basically like printing with a laser beam. Okay, it's going to slightly etch the surface and not burn all the way through it. So we're ready, folks. We've got two different layers separated here. One for cutting. If I hide that cut, it just leaves the engrave. Turn it back on. If I hide the engrave layer, it does just the cut. But we want both. So now we're going to go File. First, I recommend going File, Save, and just saving your Inkscape document for future use. Notice it's saving it to, I think it'll save it to your documents, but check to see that you know where it's going. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call this one Snowflake Ornament 2. And once again, this is saving it as SVG, which is a type of Inkscape file. So I'll save that. That is not ready for the printer yet. It's not ready for the laser. But we can always come back and edit this again now. To prepare for the laser, here we go. Last step. File, save as. Now, when we save as this time, we want to change the file type from SVG to 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth one down, the PDF. Okay, there it goes. Now what's cool about this is the name stays the same. What's cool about this is when you save it as a PDF, and we can just click OK here. When we save it as a PDF, it retains those layers. It takes that information with it. So the last thing that I'm going to show you is if you are a laser owner, what you would do. Okay. Well, so if you're one of my students, you're now going to take that PDF into this form. You're going to type in your name and your class period, and you're going to submit the PDF here along with telling me. So this is where you would specify and tell me when you're turning this in, what does each layer do. Okay. Now, if you're a laser owner watching this video, I'm going to quickly show you what you would do. You're going to go to the website. It's app.glowforge.com. Now, you have to be a Glowforge owner for this video to really mean anything to you. So we made it to the app.glowforge.com, and at this point, we're all logged in. Let's make sure that your laser is selected up top, and we're going to click on the Create button. So, that didn't do anything, did it? Alright, let's try this again. I'm going to click the Create New Design button up in the upper left. And we're going to create a blank design. Actually, we might want to upload a file. I'm going to go with that. Upload a file. You can tell I haven't done this very many times. And I'm going to upload my last PDF. So there it goes. It says it's being uploaded. It says give it a second while they prepare it. And then it doesn't take long before here is a picture of my file on the laser grid. Now, what I want to do now is go back in and place my cutting medium. We're going to use some 1/4-inch plywood inside the laser, and this is a real-time view of it being on the actual wood. What you do want to do before you hit print is put that wood in there, and you want to go in here. Now look, I've got two layers. It saved those layers. One is the Happy Holidays. We want that one to be an engrave, don't we? And then we have this other one, which is the snowflake, and we want that one to be a cut. Okay, what we still have to do is go in and set up. We have to set up a speed and an intensity for the laser for both the engrave and the cut. So I'm going to make a follow-up video that shows those specific settings. That's going to be on you to research and find the appropriate speed and settings, unless you're using proof grade material, which is you can buy it from Glowforge, and it's got the little QR code that uploads and tells the laser exactly which settings to use based on what you're using. So there's no research necessary. We're not going to use those in this class right now. We're going to use our own material. We're going to engrave this one, and we're going to cut this one, and we're going to look up and find the appropriate settings for 1/4-inch plywood. Hopefully this video was helpful.